Hey guys, today we're going to practice a skill that's often used in offices, but sometimes used in manufacturing, in your own home, in construction work, anything that people are trying to keep documents that are similar in a place that's easily accessible. And that's correlating and organizing papers in a binder. Okay, this is a binder. Binders have 3 rings in them, and in this case, they have 3 tabs in them. And each one of these tabs is just kind of like the files that we've been doing in the past. These tabs have a 1, a 2, and a 3 on them. And those are going to correlate, and correlate means that you put the same things together. So the number 1 tab that's in this book is going to correlate with the number 1 on this paper. The same with the number 2 tab in this is going to correlate with the number 2s on these papers. So right now, we can't get these papers into this 3-ring binder because there's no holes in here. So that's what our job is going to be today, is learning how to put these holes into these papers so that way we can put them on the rings of this binder in the right place. I know it sounds complicated, but it's going to be a skill that in a lot of offices and stuff that you're going to use. And it's a skill that needs a lot of practice because there's a lot of elements to it. So we're going to work on this today, and we're going to practice. So we're going to get good. Okay? So the first thing we need to do is we're going to put some like numbers together. I have a stack of papers. Everybody's going to have one. And it's got 5 sheets of each number, 1, 2, and 3. And you'll know it's a stack because it has a paper clip on it. We're going to take that paper clip off, and we're going to find the number 1s. We know that there's going to be about 5 number 1s. Okay? Now, for some of you, you'll just be able to count out the 5 and find the 5 number 1s. And they'll all be stacked together already. For some of you other ones, your support person may mix the pages up so that way you have to look through and identify which ones are number 1s and put them in their own group. You'll have to look through and find the number 2s and put them in a group. And you'll have to find the number 3s and put them in a group. Okay? Depending on your skill level, your support person will help you identify which ones are which. So after we have found the 5 number 1s, we're going to take them first, and we're going to start by taking a single piece, because this is going to be where the practice comes in. We're going to take a single piece, and we're going to take this. This machine is called a 3-hole punch. There's a lot of different variations on how a 3-hole punch looks and how it works. So whenever you get a job, if they're asking you to do this, the 3-hole punch some paper, it's going to take a little bit of training for them. But they all work on the same principle. The principle is that you have a guide right here that the paper is going to rest on, and you have a lever right here. And this lever, you push down, and that's what pushes the holes into the paper. So you take your number, in this case number 1 paper, and in your office job it can be just about anything. If they're asking you to do gas bills or a certain client's name, put them all together. It can be a lot of different things, but these binders are used a lot, especially in offices, to organize information so people can access it quickly. So the biggest trick to this is you're going to put it inside here underneath these holes, and it's going to be a lot easier to see whenever you're doing it by yourself or with your support person, whenever you're physically doing it, than I can show you here. But you're going to put it underneath the holes, and you're going to rest it on this little metal tab right here. If you can see that, there's a little metal tab. So you're going to put the piece of paper in there. You're going to rest it on that tab right there. It's got to be butted up there, or it's not going to line up right. And you're going to put it underneath these metal brackets. These metal brackets are what has these pushed down, and that's what pushes the holes into the paper. The next thing I want you guys to recognize is where my number 1 is. My number 1 is at the top of this, okay? So since I started it with the number 1 on the top, every next one of these pages that I hole punch, the number 1 needs to be at the top, and the metal bracket needs to be at the bottom, okay? They all have to be the same or they're not going to line up right. So you always have to do things the same. So I put the paper in underneath those blocks, rest it on that metal bracket with the number 1 on the top. I hold it. I don't push the paper too hard because I don't want it to come up like that. I want to hold the paper even on that bracket. And then I want to push down with some firm pressure. These are often not the easiest thing to push down. It takes a little bit of effort, but you have to push it all the way down to where it stops. And that puts those holes in there. Then you're able to find the number 1 tab on your binder. Well, you have to push these tabs down on the binder, and that opens the jaws for each one of these 3 rings. Then you find the number 1 tab, which in this case is red. You turn the number 1 tab over, because we always put it behind the tab, not in front of the tab. We put it behind the tab. And then you take your number 1 sheet and you put each hole goes over even one of the 3 ring binder clasps, okay? And now you're going to repeat that. You're going to do that again with the number 1 until all of your pages with the number 1 are done. You put the paper in underneath the brackets and rest it on the bottom tab. You push down firmly until it stops. You make sure your holes are right. Sometimes if you put it in wrong, your hole will be down here, and then you know you're going to have to redo it. Okay? You want to make sure you put it in there the same way each time. Then you put it over your binder clasps, and you move to the next one. Maybe our next one is going to be a number 2. Okay? Put it in there. Firmly push it down. Pull it out and look. And uh-oh, did I do it right? Look, my holes are way down here. They're not like that on this one. So I made a mistake. I didn't push the paper all the way down to that metal clip. So that means my holes weren't right. Okay, it's important to make sure that you put the holes in the right place. So now whenever I put this in here, you guys can see it, it's not going to line up. See, the paper is not lining up with the other papers. So it's not going to look neat and it's not going to look professional. So we got to make sure we pay attention to what we do because it's important that this is done correctly. Okay? So make sure that you practice this. Make sure that you're accurate with it. You're going to do each number. You're going to put the number 1s in the number 1 tab. You're going to turn the page and put the number 2s behind the number 2 tab. You're going to open that and put the number 2s in there. Even though that one's not correct, just an example. You're going to move the number 3s. You're going to Find the number 3 tab and turn it and put it behind the number. Put the number 3s behind the number 3 tab. Okay. So I want you guys to practice the skill. There's a lot of moving parts to this skill. There's a lot of things to do to this with this skill, so it's important for us to practice. Each packet has 15 pages, and it'll take you 15 times to really start getting good at it. If you need to do 2 packets, that's fine. Do however many you need to be good at this. This is a skill that a lot of places do, and this is a skill that will be beneficial for you if you get a job and need to do this. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys. Have fun with it, practice it, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.